There are so many agentic browsers, and they all seem to be exactly the same. But here comes this new one called Manus AI. Is it going to be different? Could it even help us, say, plan for our own retirement? That would be nuts. Well, let's find out if it could do it. Let's start off first by watching their video that they posted on X.
Tired of jumping between tools? Manus connectors bring your tools together in one single workflow. Emails, notes, calendars, spreadsheets, even databases. All you need is a prompt. To be more efficient, prompt Manus with your documents and get it updated with calendar events created automatically. To help with decision-making, streamline email analysis, memo creation, and replies into a single workflow. To be more insightful, access financial databases and create instant projections. All your tools connected with Manus.
All right, well, that was a really cool video. I'm actually super excited about it. And we're going to take a look at it. Before we do that, though, please, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. I want to hear from you. But most importantly, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel right now. Just get it over with. I really appreciate it. It helps the channel. But now let's go look at Manus's website. So I'm logged in already, and I've done a couple test projects. I'm just going to kind of reuse a couple that I've done previously to show you the results here. So the first thing I did is I asked it, like, hey, put together a presentation on the top 5 family-friendly restaurants with small children in Austin, Texas. That's kind of a fairly innocuous search where it just goes online and finds restaurants that are interesting. And it did a really good job. This entire search, I don't know if it tells you how long it took to do this, but it was a few minutes. And it took this and put together this pretty nice looking presentation. I'll show you here. They used kind of like some blinking text. I'm not sure why they did that in this, like these colors they chose, but I thought it was a pretty nice looking presentation. Gives what makes a family-friendly restaurant family-friendly, dedicated play areas, family atmosphere, entertainment options, kid-friendly menus, and then it starts listing some places. This animation is built into the presentation. I'm not sure why, but you could export this as a, I think you could do it as a Google slide, PowerPoint, PDF. So we're just looking at it on the website. But it recommended a few places I think are actually very good to go with kids that I know about, and actually pulled the pictures from the internet. So I've seen other tools do similar presentations, but then generate images and not actually pull real imagery. So it did all of that, and it rated them and said like the pricing and which age groups it's good for. So I thought that was really good. And then you could actually see the code it used to do all these things. And you could even go in, if I back out here, you can go in somewhere and actually see the server that does this work. I can't figure out how to, oh, here you go. So you can actually get into the environment on its computer and see how it did all of this stuff and replay it back. So it's really just, it's a true like agentic system. It has its own like computer in the cloud, and it can even do a cloud-based browser system. So it's doing all this stuff all up in the cloud. So let's look at another one that I did. I had it go ahead and there's this business I'm working on called 5 Founders, which is a mastermind for founders. If you're interested, by the way, go check it out. But basically, I wanted to say like, hey, go ahead and do a competitive analysis, look at the opportunity in the business, and what would be the go-to-market strategy that you would do. So as you can see, it went to the website, clicked all the elements on the website. So it has like a headless browser built into it, searched around, created a markdown file, and basically did all the research on the website and then on the space. And it came back first with this written out presentation, which was pretty good, I thought. And then I was like, hey, like I really want to like have this in a slide deck format. Can you take all that and turn it into a slide deck? So it went ahead and did that. And I'll show you that. I think I gotta go down here to get to it. Yep. So let's see. So yeah, so it's like obviously not the style I would use, but basically I thought did a pretty nice little presentation of the analysis I asked for. It did an executive summary on it, what it actually is. It figured out what our positioning was, what the pricing is, looked at the business model, looked at the competitive landscape, and I liked that it actually did these where you could see You know, I think this is a entrepreneur organization, $2,400 a year, YPO, high dues, strict eligibility, Vistage. So it actually like knew it did real research and to figure out where we were pricing wise and exclusivity. Did some nice market opportunity, talked about the health aspects of it, of what we're doing, and actually did a nice job, I thought, about updating the core messaging, which I haven't done yet, which is like talking more about the mental health and the growth side of things, which um, is I think very important and different from what I'm doing versus what others are doing. But anyway, it did all this on its own, fully agentically. I didn't have to do any of this work, and it actually created a sales and retention funnel. So like 100% of applications are applied, and then 60% get initial call, 40% get group matched, and 25% become paid members. So I thought that was a good way of doing a funnel visualization. It shows like KPIs that are important, retention rate, and this is like, I asked it like basically 2 sentences, and it came back with all of this, which I thought was really, really amazing. So let's try one more. Actually, I'll show you one other thing first that I found. They have these examples down here. So if you end up signing up, and by the way, this is a free account I'm on. I have not moved up to the paid plan yet. So I don't know how much you get to do for free, but basically this is completely free. And if you look at the bottom here, it says explore use cases. Then you can see some examples that they put together. So it's US SaaS market analysis and slide creation. I don't know if these are things that other people have done, but they're there. And so there's a lot of stuff that you could look through. So let's try another one. I had an idea. Oh yeah, I know what it is. Let's do something that's about retirement and visualizing retirement. So basically, let's just say um, you want to retire and make $100,000 a year off of your investments. I know it's a crazy idea, but if you want to do that, I want to be able to put in an age, how much money I'm going to contribute on a monthly basis, and the expected appreciation from the market, S&P 500 going up, and it show exactly how much money you need to put in over the course of time to be able to retire based on your current age now. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and let's see how it does. All right, here we go. This is kind of hard. We'll see if it's able to do it or not. But what I'm putting together is I say, put together a web app that will calculate and visualize savings for retirement. So the inputs are starting age. So if you're 20, you put 20. Your starting retirement balance, if you have any money, maybe you have like $1,000 or 10,000 or whatever the number is. Your passive income goal at 65. So how much money you want to make per year passively. So that's how much living money per year. This should be equal to the passive income assumption times your balance. So basically, down here are the assumptions, and the assumption is there's two assumptions. One is that there will be a 7% adjusted growth in the S&P 500. That's where your investments are, and your 5% passive income, which will say like, hey, we're not going to count on it being 7% by the time you're retired. We're just going to say it's going to be 5%. So basically, you'll probably move it into more safe bets at a 5%. But during the course of time from now through retirement, you can count on 7% adjusted. So that's pretty much standard financial planner kind of stuff. So I'm going to put one more thing in here. Okay, so what I just says, it should show clearly how much money the individual should contribute per year and month based on the input goals. So it's basically like if you have $10,000, then and you want to have $500 a year income, then you probably don't need to do anything. But if you want to have $100,000, then you need to put in money every year. And so hopefully this application can walk you through and show you what you actually need to do to retire based on your goals. So I'm going to let this run and we'll see how it goes. We're hitting send. All right. Well, it says it's done. First off, regardless of how well this works, I just think this stuff is like amazing. My mind is blown. Like I don't know, every week I see stuff and I just can't believe that it's possible. Let's go to the top. First off, what it did is it put a plan together. That was its first thing it did. Created a to-do list. Then it did a design phase, updated to-do list. I've created a React project, retirement calculator using the utility tool, made sure it had the requirements, pre-installed libraries like Tailwind and ShadCN. If you don't know what those are kind of critical. Front-end components, layouts, calculations, blah, blah, blah. The structure is understood. The initial setup is complete. So like it built what you call like a boilerplate application in, I don't know, like a minute. It's wild. So it updated the index HTML to retirement savings calculator, created the main file. So it basically created a homepage essentially. Application is running, and then it's verified UI and functionality. Calculator displays input fields. So it like did the logic that it needs to do, and then it created tests. So it says testing various input scenarios confirms the calculation update correctly. Increasing age raises monthly contributions, while higher current balances decreases them. So it's like it's writing its own. I guess you would call that like functional testing or integrated testing. So it's not just like a small unit test. It's actually checking the interface calculations because it's probably doing it all in JavaScript. But still, it's just mind-boggling. Then it did a mobile test, and then it went ahead and deployed it to production, executing command. So now this is hosted somewhere, and I haven't tested it yet. It might not work properly, but just the fact that it did all of that as a starting point is just mind-boggling to me. So let's open up this thing. I mean, this is crazy. So basically, if let's just say you're 20 years old, let's do that scenario. I said, oops, whoa, not 290. You're 20 years old and you have $1,000, okay? And you want to make $200,000 a year passively when you're 65 years old, okay? So basically, that means you need $4 million when you retire. The reason being is that we're assuming that you'll safely get 5% return on your assets because you can do things like dividends and treasuries and stuff, like very safe bets that you would do at retirement. So at 5%, which is a very safe bet, that means at 5% of $4 million, you'll be able to pull in $200,000 a year. So if you're 20 and you start with $1,000, then that means you're going to, every month from now until the time you retire, you're going to have to put in $1,160. I don't know if the math is right. Let's see. So 65 minus 20, that's 45 months at 1160. Yeah, no. Hold on. 11, hold on. Forgive me. 45 years, 12 months, 540 months times 1160. That's 626. Okay, no, the math is right because basically what's happening is your I haven't confirmed for sure the compounding is right, but basically you're putting in this money every month and then you are getting 7% on the market. Just so you put all of your stuff into SPY, which is the S&P 500, you'll get 7% expected return continuously over the course of time. It's not going to be every year be the same. Some years will be 15, some years will be 0 or negative, but it'll average out to 7. So the math says you'll have to put $1,160 in, annual contribution of $13,000 to retire with $4 million when you're 65. So that's like getting rich the easy way. In the sense it's not like you're not striking rich, you're just being smart from the time you're 20 years old. But it's like, oh, I really screwed up my first 10 years. I blew all of my money. This is my life, by the way. And let's just say you don't really get started until you're 30. Well, all of a sudden you got to put in $2,400 a month to get that $4 million. So you have 35 years to go until you retire. Better get cooking. Whereas if you, let's just say you were, let's do something funny. Let's say you're a you're a trust fund kid. Obviously, there's some UI stuff. And let's just say your parents are like, oh, we'll give you $500,000, just a little bit from, let's see, is the math not working? Current retirement balance, and you want to have required balance at 65. Oh, you know what's happening? You just have too much money. So we didn't do, oh, congratulations, you're on track. I didn't see that. So basically, your parents, let's just say you're like, hey, I want to make $400,000 a year. And your parents gave you a small $500,000 on your 18th birthday, just a little trust fund. Okay. Well, guess what? You're going to have the $8 million off of that trust fund money, whether you work or not. So and you're going to have, you could make $50,000 a year. You can't make $900,000 a year. Can you make, no, 800, no, 700. So basically, yeah, you can make, you could bring $600,000 a year off of the $500,000 your parents gave you when you're 18 years old. Of course, you might just be like, hey, I could finally spend it. You buy a Ferrari like an idiot. But basically, the point is, if you're born into this situation, guess what? You're going to be able to make that money. Now, if your parents give you $50,000, just say you're not trust fund kid, but your parents are a little smarter about setting you up. And you want $200,000. So basically, you start off with 50 grand at the age of 18. You want to have $200,000. Well, you only have to put in $700 a month because your parents gave you that nice money, the nice $50,000 to start with. But if you're like a normal person, you might have $2,000. Let's just say when you're 18. So now you got to put $1,000 a month in from the time you're 18. But it's better than doing that than starting when you're 38, because then you're going to have to put in $4,400. So basically, this thing is exactly what I asked for, and it works perfectly on the first try. I can't believe it. I can't believe this is possible. I could publish this. People can look at it. And these little apps, by the way, are really good for go-to-market stuff. For if you have a business and you just want to throw in a free calculator and you SEO optimize it, then people will use it. That's like, so you can build these things with this. And this is just, I mean, my mind is blown. So this thing is great. Let's look at one other thing here. Okay, so this like gives you the logic of the color scheme, the tech specs it put together, the to-do list it did. Yeah, so we didn't deploy it to like a fully public site. But basically, I gave it this, which is one sentence, 4 bullet points, plus 2 more bullet points, so 6 bullet points and 2 sentences. 6 bullet points and 2 sentences, and it produced something that actually works as good as many of the calculators you see online. So as far as these agentic browsers, now of course this isn't, I didn't like have it go search and embed graphics and stuff, but we already showed on the research we did for the restaurants that they can do that stuff. But so as far as these agentic browsers, I think this is the best one I've seen so far. It is not connected. Obviously, we're not using the connectors to send it to Google Drive and stuff like that. There's these other connectors, GitHub, Google Calendar. You could have it do things and add appointments to your calendar. You could see all of them here: Notion, Intercom, Zapier, Supabase, so you could store stuff in a database. Neon, same deal. But basically, this thing's awesome. I really, really like it a lot, and I'm glad I got to show it to you. I actually, I'll get this code here. Share with friends. Here, I'll put this code here. I'll put this code in the description of the video, and then we all get some free credits. So yeah, might as well use it. That way we both get credits. I like this. This is going places. It also has scheduling built into this, so you can do where was the scheduled tasks? I can't remember where they were, but somewhere in here you could do a scheduled task that it'll run periodically all the time for you, which I think is really, really cool. So anyway, hope you like it. I think it's cool. Definitely check out Manus. And the website is, I'll put the website in the description. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please go ahead, if you like this video, leave it a thumbs up. Give me a comment. I would love to hear from you. And then also definitely subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot. Talk to you later. Peace.